Okay guys, I've been hinting at this video for a while. I wanted to do a video talking about Christian book publishers. And then I was reminded of Murphy's Dear Author series. And I thought, how about we take that and we make this a Dear Christian Publishers video. I don't think this is going to be a series, but who knows. So I grabbed a couple books here that were on my stack to read. And I was looking at the different publishers. So we've got Tyndale Publishing, Revel Publishing, Thomas Nelson, Zondervan. I know there's Bethany House, but they weren't on my stack apparently. I want to call these publishers out and maybe we can talk a few things out here. We want to raise the standards of Christian publishing, and you guys have left some comments, some ideas, some things we want to see, and let's just kind of talk about this. My plan is to go over the comments that I got in the community posts that I made, and then if I have some more thoughts to say afterwards, I'll say it, because I feel like if I start ranting now, we're never going to get to these comments. So you guys left some good ones too. I think I'm gonna have a lot to say here. So my whole thing was, I said, Dear Christian Publishers, if you've seen Murphy's Dear Author series, I thought it'd be fun to take a general idea and do a Dear Christian Publishers video. Leave a comment sharing things you wish Christian publishers did or didn't do. And you guys had some things to say. So we're just gonna go with the order I have things here. Chloe starts things out with, focus on quality. Please don't publish something because it's Christian. I want a good story structure, editing, and rounded plot in books. Oh, I so agree here. I feel like so often the bar is set lower for Christian authors. It's like, oh, you're a Christian author, great. Just like slap some words on a page and we'll publish it because we can market it. But I think someone else actually talks about this. We really want actually good storylines. If we're choosing to read a Christian book, we want the quality to be as good, honestly, if not better, than a mainstream published book. Yeah, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Tanya says, it seems like a lot of Christian fiction consists of Amish or Western romance storylines. Maybe have a little more variety in stories when it comes to Christian fiction. Yeah, okay. First of all, not everyone that's a Christian is really into Amish people or is a cowboy. Can we just state that? Second of all, I'm gonna ride my little soapbox hobby horsey. I am maybe a cowgirl in disguise. What is with all the Amish Christian books? And I know there's exceptions, and I'm just gonna do a broad stroke here, but the Amish community is pretty much a cult, you guys. It is. I'm not saying there can't be Christians amongst the Amish community, but for the most part, they are so focused on legalist things that are not in the Bible. And if you don't follow them, you get kicked out and shunned, which is completely pretty much the definition of a cult. So why are we glorifying the Amish in Christian publishing? Why is this even a thing? Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I'm just why? And the Western too. This is the thing, the early American history. You get the Westerns with yeah. Okay, yeah, we want a little bit more variety for sure. That I read a lot of. I didn't really read. I read a couple Amish books, but I read a lot of Western ones as a teenager because that's all there was. There wasn't variety. A lot of Christian fiction. Oh, this is Heather here. She says, a lot of Christian fiction only has female main characters. I want a story where a man is the main character. And she wants the Christian publisher to stop making it romance so obvious. Okay, we'll get to the romance part because y'all know I got feelings about romances. Okay, female main character. So after I read this, I was like, oh yeah, there really are very few Christian published books that have main characters that are male. It's actually I think there's just more of an influx of women authors. Usually if it's a male author, he has a male main character, but most of them are female authors. So I totally agree with this. This is not something that I ever thought of, but that is interesting. And then, okay, the romance, you guys, I got a whole video about my thoughts on Christian romance. So where do I even start? I'm not against relationship in books. I am a happily married woman, but I think we're going to talk about this yet, but does every book have to end that way? Okay. Ooh, how do I pronounce her name? Maria? Maybe. She says, publish in a variety of genres and a bigger variety of types of stories, not just predictable Christian romance, which is often not even a good representation of a godly relationship. Okay, yes, I'm like all for the variety. You guys know I like more like the mystery suspense thing. But then there is always, 99% of the time, some kind of romance that is often, exactly, not a godly relationship. It's usually the man is the savior. The woman just needs this man, and then her life is all, I don't know, butterflies and rainbows and puppies and daisies and fields. Yeah, let's stop with that. And Anne from Elizabeth Ann Reads, she continues this. Not everyone has to end up in a perfect relationship, or any relationship. To be fair, this is directed to all publishers, but I feel like in Christian books especially, marriage is the only goal. I totally agree with this. And it, you know, it's so predictable. Like, why does every story have to end that way? Even if a story is going to, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Yes, let's just have a little bit more variety. People in different stages of life even. Like, it always starts out with someone between 25 and 35, and then they are single, and usually like they're a little burnt out because something happened in a relationship in the past, and they always end up married by the end of the book. Let's have some more variety. Let's have characters that are like single and stay single and like want to be single and are fine with that, and their end goal in life is not to be married. Or let's even, I'm trying to think, is there like any books of like characters that are already married, like mothers? Like, they're pretty much just like all single people. Broad strokes again, but like I can use a little bit more variety there. Cheyenne says, stop only publishing books by white authors. It's seriously hard to find books published by Christian authors of color. And this was so interesting to me because I was like, I never really thought about this. So I like started looking, because I even like some of my favorite books by my favorite authors, I had to look up to see what color they were, because if the picture is not on the back of the book, like I'm not generally looking the person up, and they were all white people. So then I did look up to see, I searched specifically for Christian books by authors of color. And I mean, like, I'm going for any kind of color here. Like, my son is South African, so I want some like black authors, but I've got like indigenous kids. I would love to see some of that, or like, you know, some Asian authors. And the only ones I could find when I searched Christian authors by Christian books by authors of color were like romance books. So that's not really what I was looking for. So if you guys have recommendations for Christian books that are written by authors that are like not Caucasian, leave some ideas below. Because the only one I could really think of was Tosca Lee, and even then some of her books I'm like, I'm not even sure if they're really Christian, which kind of we'll get into yet. But Christian faith and fiction, I'm totally forgetting what her name is. She says, I think this is a don't list a book as Christian fiction when the only Christian thing is a character has a Bible on their shelf. And yes, this is a pet peeve. Like, often for me, I find that when I'm reading a book, they mention like going to church once or twice, and then it's like, check that Christian box, we're good to go. No, like, we want people that are like raising the bar, or, you know, having struggles even is fine too. They don't have to be perfect, but like there needs to be the faith has to be a part of their life, not just something they do on Sundays. Absolutely. Recovering book hoarder. Make sure you're choosing to publish books that are actually Christian and represent it well. If there's no mention of Jesus with the Bible and promotion of other religions, it should not be published under a Christian publishing company. Yes, and this is kind of where I want to like veer off, because there's something I wanted to say. And I feel like Christian publishers need to have a good declaration of like, here's what we believe, and here is like what we believe is what we're going to publish books under. If you are a Christian publisher, I feel like even the word Christian is getting hard. Like, if you are trying to be a gospel-centered publisher, you need to make sure that your books are gospel-centered. And I don't think that needs to be like major conversations between characters necessarily. That's not always what I'm looking for. But there should be an element of redemption, or something like that. There needs to be something going on where you can see the faith. People are, you know, being challenged. We as Christians are supposed to live differently than the world, and we should also be able to see that in the books, in the characters that we're reading in these books. Absolutely. Okay, yes, so here's what I was going to say. I can't even pronounce her username. Paul. Oh, guys, I'm so terrible at this. My favorite Christian books are the ones that aren't overtly obvious. Lord of the Rings, Narnia, Wrinkle in Time, or are very obvious because they're about a subject that is too taboo in modern Christendom. This present darkness, I don't know this other one, she says, prophecy, casting out demons, speaking in tongues, etc. I don't want retellings if scriptural characters, especially if they're going to be in a love story, or allegories where Jesus is obviously light or shepherd. And can they please be edited? Okay, I know what she's saying. This is a long comment. And I totally get it. I'm fine with like allegories and stuff like that. But it would also be nice to have some books that are like not super overtly Christian, so that you could recommend them to non-Christian friends and they would still enjoy it, and they could see the elements throughout the book. I'm thinking about the Mark of the Raven here. I think the Christ figure in that book is considered like the light or something, but I feel like she did a really good job in that series, especially the first book. I feel like non-Christians can read that book and also read the gospel story throughout it. So yeah, I would like to see more books like that. Catherine says, I would like more contemporary fiction that deals with modern day issues, addictions, death, broken relationships, and not everything needs to have a perfect happy ending. I feel like most Christian fiction that is specifically marketed for women is fluff. It doesn't have much substance, and it treats us like we don't have any desires other than to find a man and have a family. We have brains and like to use them too. Yes, okay, I was thinking about this comment earlier. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about a particular author here. I'm gonna try not to like bash anyone, but with the contemporary Christian fiction, which I don't read, they're all like, yeah, they start out with this like broken, sad person, and in the end they are happy because they found their man, and that does not need to be the case. I really appreciated one of Jamie Jo Wright's books, well, you know, a number of them, but one of them when she talks about like legalism, and she approaches some really like heavy topics, and I feel like she does it in a way that's not overtly like in your face, learn this lesson, but it's like woven throughout the book, and I would like to see more like that. And Holly says, don't write Christian fiction on the back of the barcode. What is that? Christian is not a genre. And I agree with that, but at the same time, if it just says fiction, then I'm wondering if they are like, if it's a Christian, if I don't know the publisher, is this Christian fiction or is this just fiction? So Christian is not a genre, but Christian fiction is a genre in my mind. But I would like to be a little bit more consistent in saying like what kind of genre they're in. Often they'll say like Christian fiction, but they can be more specific. Is this contemporary? Is this suspense? Is this mystery? Is this like fantasy? Also, I would like to see more really good Christian fantasy. I didn't read any this last year. I had read like a number of good ones the year before, but like this last year I didn't read any, and I want more of it because I feel like it's really good. Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna rant anymore. I think I ranted enough as I read the comments and stuff. But if you have more stuff to say to Christian publishers, leave some comments below and maybe we'll do a second part to this. I'm definitely planning on like posting this to Instagram and like tagging Christian publishers. I would like to see if like we could actually raise the bar here, you guys. Like this isn't just something we would like, but I think that as readers of Christian fiction, we should be able to call out the publishers to a higher standard. And I'm really hoping that this video ends up in something happening. So thanks for sharing your opinions and your thoughts, and thanks for watching.